you start a nonprofit when you have no board members at all and it's just you? We're going to talk about strategies to get board members today. Let's get into it. Hey y'all, this is Tiffany with Boss on a Budget. I help people start nonprofits. If you need help starting a nonprofit or raising money for your startup nonprofit, make sure you are subscribed to this channel because I drop videos every week, y'all. So today I'm going to talk about the question I get a lot. How do I start my nonprofit when I have no board members? Or how do I find board members? Where do I find these people? What do I do? So I'm going to share some insight on what you need to do when you really have no one. I do want you to watch to the end of the video because I'm going to share one mistake that I see people make when they're dealing with their nonprofit boards. And I want you to avoid making this mistake. So if you are in the startup process, make sure you watch to the very end because I want you to avoid this trap that everyone falls into. Also, for y'all out there who are thinking, I got this, Tiffany, I don't need board members. And the only reason why I would even need board members is because the state requires it. I'm going to tell y'all, you do need board members. Don't go into it thinking that you can do this all by yourself. You need help, but also you need the networking. You need the time that these people have. You need the resources that these people have. Nonprofits were not designed to be done by one person. So just get that out of your head if you think that you can do this on your own. So the IRS does not want you to do that. That creates so many conflicts of interest. But just for strategy's sake, you don't want to start a nonprofit thinking it's all on you. So in this video, I'm going to share 4 things you can do when you have no clue of who to add on your nonprofit board. And make sure you check out this video after you watch this video. I'm linking it above. It answers the question, should family and friends serve on your board? The short answer is probably not, but watch that video so you can hear more about why I say that. The first thing I suggest you do is really think through the skill sets, the perspectives, the personalities that you need on your team. So you have to remember that this is a startup organization. So there's a type of person that you need to serve with you in this phase of your nonprofit. You don't necessarily need a person who is not willing to roll up their sleeves or not willing to extend themselves to help with your nonprofit, because this is going to be probably the hardest period, you getting over that hump to be sustainable, right? So you need to ask yourself what backgrounds, what experiences, what attitudes, what perspectives I really want to have at the table, because you all are going to be forming this organization together. You all are going to be creating the vision and the mission and the values together. And each one of those people who are sitting at the table with you are going to have influence over that. So who do you want at that table? A lot of people don't ask themselves this first. They just go for people who seem to be prominent people in their community or people who seem to be bigwigs. But you really need to think about the team, because that's what a board is. And they have to be able to work together and make decisions together. So now that you know that, who do you want? You also have to think about just the type of work that you're doing. There are certain backgrounds that you want people to have, or certain connections that you may want people to have as well who serve on your team. So that's why you do this first, so you can make sure that you have everyone you need at the table with you. The second thing I want you to do is to outline the responsibilities of the board. So if you want people to serve on a board with you, you have to be upfront and clear about what their responsibilities are, what level of effort they're supposed to give, what you need them to do. You can't always make the assumption that people know what you need of them. A lot of people's perceptions of serving on a board is just that. I serve on a board, it's on my website, or it's on my resume or my LinkedIn, and that's it. So a lot of people don't necessarily think or realize it's more work, or you may have in mind something that you need them to do, but you have not explained that to them, or you have not made that clear from the very beginning. So that creates a huge disconnect with founders and boards, because one side is thinking one thing and the other is frustrated and mad that the board isn't stepping up. So you need to make your expectations clear as possible, and you need to have a document that outlines those responsibilities, and you should have an agreement that board members sign when they begin to serve on your organization, just so everyone is clear from the beginning about what's expected of them. So if you need help with a document like this, I actually have a board recruitment toolbox. In that toolbox are a bunch of templates and guides, like a draft welcome letter or an invitation letter that you can send to board members. And it also includes a responsibility document and a board member agreement. So if you're interested or need something like that, make sure you check out the description box below and make sure you grab the toolbox. The third thing I want you to do is to go where those people are. So you've already laid out the perspectives, the backgrounds, the connections that you want to have on your board, but you then need to figure out, well, where are those people, and you need to go to them. Don't expect everything to come to you, or to say, I have a nonprofit, and expect for people to know what you need from them. So you have to go and research and vet people who you want to serve on your board. I don't want you to be passive about this. I want you to be proactive about finding the people that you need, but it doesn't need to be just a random request. Because you know the types of people that you're looking for, because you did what you were supposed to do in step one, then you have more of a roadmap of where to go to find these people. If you have a mentoring program, maybe you want teachers or former teachers to serve on your board. Well, you know where to find teachers or former teachers, right? You can either go to local schools, you can go to the school board, you can go to teachers unions. There's so many different ways you can go about this, but you have to first identify who you're looking for. And then once you know that, then you'll have a better sense of where to find them. All right, so the last thing I want you to do is to tap into associations, boards, communities in your local area, but also online. All right, so your Chamber of Commerce, your local United Way, your local nonprofit association, your local community foundation, they all may be tapped into potential board members. They may even have their own board development programs where they connect board members with nonprofit organizations, but you won't know if you don't go out there and you look into them. This also applies online. So LinkedIn is a great place to find people and to figure out who they're associated with, to figure out what their background is. But it's not just LinkedIn. It can be any place where people congregate and you learn more about them and you learn about their experience and you get a sense of what they're good at and whether or not they would be a good fit for your team. So don't forget about groups and associations and communities so you can tap into them to find the people that you need. So I know you've been waiting till I got to the end of this video to hear the biggest mistake I see people make when they are putting together their board. So it's not talking about money. So a lot of people get really nervous about this, it's okay. It's going to be fine. But you need to be clear with your board members what you expect of them regarding fundraising and what you expect of them regarding their gifts to the organization. Now, it is general good practice in the nonprofit industry to expect your nonprofit board members to give to your organization. And I say, as a new nonprofit, you especially need to have that commitment from your new nonprofit board members, because otherwise, where else is the money going to come from when you're starting from $0, right? So you need to make sure that if that's the goal, to have your board members give, that you tell them that you make it very clear from the very beginning. And you don't necessarily have to tell them to give a certain amount, but you can tell them give a significant amount, or make sure you pledge the amount so we know what to expect. Also, board members are responsible for maintaining the financial health of the organization. They have to be involved in fundraising. It is not an option. But fundraising isn't necessarily asking people directly for money. There are many different ways you can fundraise, but however you choose to do that for your board, every board member needs to be actively involved in that. It is not an option. It is not just for people who serve on one particular committee. Every person is responsible for that, and you need to make that clear because everyone does not understand that. So if you communicate that from even before they start, there won't be any surprises, or it won't be as hard to convince people to support your organization in that way. I'm just going to give a little caveat. I know some of my viewers disagree with asking board members to give. So I will say this. Once you start filling out your 990 tax form, or you start making over $50,000 and you have to supply more information to the IRS about where your money comes from, you need to make sure that all of your money isn't only coming from your board. If it's only coming from your board and that's where the majority of your funding is, then you're going to have an issue with the IRS and they're going to question whether or not you're still a public charity. The article below will help shed some light on that. So you made it to the end. Thank you so much for watching. If you need to talk to me or if you need assistance from me, make sure you visit me at www.bossonabudget.com. As I said before, I help people start their nonprofit. I help them come up with strategies to raise money for their new nonprofit. So if you need help with that, make sure you reach out to me. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.